Welcome back to Fresh Outlook, everybody. About 2 decades ago, I interviewed Superman, or at least the man who portrayed the superhero in the movies, actor Christopher Reeve. He was so ill when I met him that he had a team of people, including his wife, working on him all the time. He was paralyzed from the neck down. He couldn't even sweat to control his own body temperature. I asked him a question. Now I feel like a dummy for asking it, but I asked him this: how does it feel to be a role model? And he said, nobody wants to be a role model. It's something you don't put on your resume. It's something that is thrust on you instead. But people who handle what seem to be intolerable situations with grace and perseverance do inspire us. And Daniel, you've bounced back from a traumatic brain injury. I know you have a way to go yet. What do you think about that conversation I had with Christopher Reeve? It's kind of ironic that he would say that, right?
It is, but I kind of agree with that. What you have to go through to be that inspirational figure, not really something you want to go through.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Exactly. It takes courage. It's a challenge, but you rather challenge yourself and show your courage in other ways than battling an injury or a disease.
Of course. I mean, biking across the country was something I was planning to do before my injury.
Right.
Doing it after the injury was just a way of proving I'm not dead.
Right.
You know, so.
Right. That's great. And tell me a little bit about some of these people that we see in our popular culture, from Michael J.Fox to Christopher Reeve to Tracy Morgan to Stephen Hawking. They do inspire us, but so do people like you, who have survived now for 13 years after battling back against breast cancer. Daniel does, Dominick does as well. Tell me about your thoughts on, inspiring others, showing the way. I know you do it through your hotline.
I do it for the hotline. I do it because they helped me through the journey, and they still continue to help me through. But I felt like, if I'm going to have cancer, I need to have something good come of it. And this is the way I honor. My mother passed away from breast cancer 49 years ago. And it's a way of honoring her and just, figuring this is, I got this disease, I dealt the cards I was dealt, and I have to do something with it. And that is, if I can help anyone. And the biggest empowerment I get is when someone calls and they thank me, when in fact I thank them, because every call I get helps me also. So it's...
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I know from personal experience, 2 years ago I woke up and I was blind in my left eye. And my retina had detached.
Wow.
And I went to the doctor and they're like, you need to go have surgery right now.
Wow.
And it changes. You're angry that it's happening to you. You don't know why you're going through this. You want to be the person you were. You want to be able to go to the gym and go out to dinner and just walk outside and have a normal day. I mean, that's part of the struggle about not being well. You feel like you're cast aside for a little while.
Absolutely. It's an entirely new reality is forced on you. And I think, and not just you, but the people who love you, the people who are around you. And I think, it's the gestures, big and small, during those trying times, that really kind of define your relationships and the people around you.
Exactly. Yeah, you realize the importance of having loved ones around you when you can't really take care of yourself. A little bit about the challenges that you faced, Daniel. The depression has gone away. Are you still angry that you fell from the pole that day?
I'm not necessarily angry. The depression comes back every now and again, of course. The hardest parts were in the beginning. Learning how to talk again was interesting, to say the least, and then you get learning to walk.
How did you do that? How did you learn how to talk again?
Kessler Rehab started using a game. It's called Bananagrams, and we basically make the words, say the words, and it comes back over
Was your
time.
speech distorted? You thought you were saying the word, but the word was coming out differently than you intended?
For a little while then there's the word finding issues, which of course resulted in the wrong word being said. That still happens. If anyone ever reads my writing from my websites, they should know that those were proofread by probably 5 to 10 people before they went up. The working segment that handles that and you're talking, that was a very interesting hump to go over. But Bananagrams and having somebody there and we're talking back and forth, you had to make a sentence with the word, that type of stuff. Stuff started coming back. Connections to the old, I guess, rebridged.
Absolutely. And how important do you think public role models are, like Michael J.Fox? I know he's really shown a spotlight on Parkinson's disease. I don't know if there's a woman who's done something similar for breast cancer, although I believe the woman from Married with Children had a double mastectomy. I forget what her name is, the blonde actress.
Angelina Jolie
Angelina
just,
Jolie
you know,
proactively
proactively has something. And I look at it like this, you know, I, myself and the other 100 women that are volunteers, we all have a story and nobody gets to hear our story. If they could go out there and they could promote what needs to be done, then I'm all for it.
Is this BRCA gene testing that Angelina Jolie had, her mother who died early of breast cancer, much like your mother, think it's important for women to find out if they have that gene?
It is. I did go for the testing and I was BRCA2 positive. I have a daughter who took care of me the whole time while I was sick, was wonderful. But, you know, we came to a decision that she wanted to know what were her chances of getting this disease. So I got tested and then she got tested. Fortunately, she was negative.
Great.
Which means that then her daughter is
breathe
okay. She's still part of the general population, which is 1 in 8 women, but it's not the high risk from having the BRCA gene. So
we're running out of time. Quickly, how do we help Sam Fund?
Well, go online to their website. It's thesamfund.org.
Okay.
And use their advocacy tools. Encourage people, young adults, to apply for grants and give money, please.
Sounds great. The phone number for your cancer hotline?
800-877-8077.
All right. And Daniel, you mentioned a couple of websites. Tell me your websites where you publish.
My biggest one is TBI2Victory, TO.com.
And TBI is traumatic brain injury. That's
correct, yes. And then TBIrider.com, that's my blog.
And if you Google Daniel Mollino, it'll come up.
Oh, you'll find plenty. They have Facebook too.
Daniel, thanks so much for your time. Ann, thanks so much for your time. Dominick, so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
You've all been through a lot. I'm glad you're all looking great. And here's to the next 100 years being just as bright. I'm Logan Crawford. That is it for this edition of Fresh Outlook, Every's TV talk show that does what else but help you keep your outlook fresh and informed. We will be back next week. Until then, take care.